Welcome to the online keyboarding and SAM training for, oh goodness, my screen just went blank. Sorry. Abby, you still there? Now I'm trying to connect back to Zoom.
Yep, I can still hear you.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of go. I'm still trying to connect back to Zoom. Somehow it clicked off when we changed slides for some reason. Hopefully you all are seeing the slide with my picture on it. Welcome to, I would love to tell you, sunny Florida, but it is raining outside and it feels like it's about May. I'm not sure what your weather is like in Texas, but it's pretty miserable here. My name is Nancy Abshier. I am going to be your facilitator for this meeting. And I do have to say thank you so much, Abby, for being my Vanna White this afternoon with forwarding slides, and you are going to be, I'm going to give you a workout. I am a professor of business and technology at the College of Central Florida. We're about an hour and a half north of the Mount, so it kind of gives you kind of a frame of reference as far as where I'm at. I'm the program manager for Office Administration here at the college and also a faculty fellow. I have taught at both the secondary and post-secondary level for over 20 years. I am Cengage's faculty partner for their keyboarding and SAM product. What we are going to be looking at today is the keyboarding and SAM product for Word 2013 for both high schools and middle schools. My product is a little bit different, but yet it is the same. I'm also active in various different organizations, one of which, just trying to prove that I feel your pain, I have sat on the state of Florida's Business Ed State Exam Revision Committee for years. So I am familiar with both secondary and post-secondary ed. Abby, can you give me the next slide?
Yep.
The next, what we're going to be doing today, the first thing we're going to be looking at is going to be the agenda, which is Help, You Need It, and SAM Has It. I am going to show you various different ways for you to be able to find the questions you have to ask of SAM. I'm going to walk you through creating a new course and how to personalize your course, scheduling of assignments, and I'm going to go over a list of best practices and tips and tricks that I have found by using a keyboarding and SAM user. Finally, we are going to be looking at the overview of analytics and reporting, which is really critical for us, obviously, as instructors. If we aren't able to grade, what is our purpose here? Abby, let's have the next slide. And just so you know, Abby, I'm still not back out with Zoom, so I'm really just trying to wing it here. Nope,
Okay.
There I am.
Yep, we're on it.
Perfect. All right, I'm back up, I think, I hope. There I am. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, you're there. Sorry. I've got my PowerPoint on one side and yours on the other. What are the differences between my product and your product? The keyboarding exercises are the same, and if you have not really explored the keyboarding exercises that much, there was a major revision during December of 2017, and I want to show you some exciting changes that are out there that will really help you be more effective in teaching keyboarding. My course that I teach focuses mainly on Word 2016 with a series of word drills, word apply it drills, and projects. Whereas yours is more of a business ed wheel where it teaches Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, general computer competency, Excel, Access, and the way yours are set up are through trainings and then by exams. I know what my goal is. What I want you all to be thinking about is what your goal is going to be. That's obviously our first step in being able to design an effective keyboarding and SAM class. Next slide, please, Abby. The first thing I want you all to do is review your course learning objectives and your course pace. I know that for me, I teach my course in various different formats. I'm sure that you all are the same way. And whether you all offer your business ed program as a departmental design or an individual design, that's also some information that we need to really be considering. How many people do we have on this call? Do we know, Abby?
Yeah, it looks like we have 11 right now.
Okay, there are 11 of us currently on the call. I can guarantee you that there are 11 different ways of teaching keyboarding out there. Whether it is we teach the way that we ourselves were taught, or a different way that we have come up with. The way that the SAM keyboarding and SAM has been designed You are able to focus on various different aspects of keyboarding, whether it's speed, accuracy, error limits, whether you take all 3 of those or 2 of those or 1 of those. The choice is really yours with your course design, and I am going to show you how you go about doing that. The next slide, please, Abby. Before your class begins, wow, this slide looks completely different than it did for me. I don't know what I have managed to do to these. Just some helpful hints that I have found. I don't know whether you're able to do this or not, but I use Google Chrome in my lab when I teach keyboarding and SAM. It behaves better. Mozilla Firefox is also stable. Edge will work. I do not recommend it. Internet Explorer also will work, but sometimes with Internet Explorer, I have a difficult time getting the screens to maximize where it takes up the entire space of the screen, and find it a little bit distracting for my students. You'll want to lay out your lessons to cover and decide if you want finite due dates. Sometimes I find that instructors like to leave everything open, and if you're like I am, I want things due at a certain time. Also, you'll want to generate your general grading concept. Are you going to grade everything, or are you only going to be grading just certain ones? Determine what your timing goal is, and you'll want to adjust your speed and accuracy goal to your preferences. Usually what I do is I start off with lower time in the timings and lower speeds, and progress my students through to where at the very end of the class is where what their goal is, so they aren't penalized at the beginning of the course for not keying as fast as they need to at the very end of the course. And Keyboarding and SAM does a great job of letting you be able to customize how you're going to do that. I'm going to show you how to set up your course in SAM, and there are also a bunch of additional assignments in there. If you've been looking for the numeric keypad, the 10 keypad on the right-hand side of the keyboard, I know we all know about, those assignments were added in December of 2017, and there have been some additional timings and skill building exercises as well. I'm going to strongly encourage you to complete the assignments that you're asking your students to do at least once yourself. That has been invaluable to me with teaching it for them. I always do that for every class I've ever taught. But really, you have to experience it just like they do in real time. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how your students can complete a systems check, which chances are you all will be doing that in your own labs on a regular basis. I'll encourage you to show your students the videos that are available for you in Keyboarding and SAM, and as well as I always encourage everyone to be positive. Even when your internet connection here at the College of Central Florida isn't good enough to support your presentation in Zoom, I have to just give myself a gold star for trying to remain a little bit positive for my technical difficulty down here in Florida. Abby, I think that gets us through the PowerPoint. You can go and hit the next slide if you want to, because that's just the SAM website, but we're going to go live. Excuse me. What I want to do here, it looks like, Abby, looks like you're running Chrome. Okay, looks great. Let's do some stuff here before we even log on. Does everybody look, I don't know if you all want to take a moment and log on to your version of SAM before we get started, but I'll give you guys just a second to do that. But there's a lot of information here on the sign-in screen before you even get started with logging on. You can find help. If you look over on the right-hand side, and actually, Abby, I'm going to do this from memory because all of the screen captures are over all the help on the right-hand side. You can actually access both the student and the instructor videos from that download. I'm sorry, from that icon on the right-hand side. There's some other options for you as well. If you're having login help, you can also click there. Also, you can see in the very center of the sign-in screen in the middle, do you see where it says Systems Check? It's a really great place to start if you are having a problem with logging on. I always encourage all of my students to perform a systems check before they get started. Now I'm going to ask Abby to go ahead and log on as me.
Okay.
So, perfect. Okay, and it brings us to this screen. This is your dashboard that you have. A lot of the information that we saw on the initial sign-on screen is also here. What I would like you all to look at, which I can't see myself, but if you look over on the right-hand side, you see where there's an envelope. That envelope will have various different messages. If there's maybe a new update coming out, or various different things along those lines, that information will be there to notify you that you have a message. It also has what's currently live in your version of Keyboarding and SAM for high school and middle schools for 2013. It also has the help videos, and it also has the information for the technical support, which I have found helpful. I will have to admit, I have called technical support, I've done it on a weekend, I've done it during the week, I've done it several different ways, and I have been very pleased with the assistance that I have received. But this is a great place for you to be able to go to if you're having problems with administering SAM within your labs in order for you to be able to find help. Okay, Abby, what I want to do, believe it or not, I'm going to kind of do this a little bit backwards. I want you to, let me see, where do I want to go? Go over to the right, because I just want to show them one thing. Do you see where it says student videos underneath the question mark?
Oh, yep.
Okay. If you haven't found these, and I'm not sure whether how you all incorporate, whether you use an LMS or not, the student videos are helpful because there are a variety of different types of assignments out there that sometimes students don't understand what the goal is. And these student videos should launch in another window that will allow the student to be able to watch and understand what the goal of the individual assignments are. Not only are there student videos, but there are also instructor videos as well. Some of these may not pertain to you yet. There was one on completing a project. That information, I think, is coming for you all maybe next fall. But both the instructor and the student videos here, that again, you can launch them directly from SAM. It's a great way to be able to go, and they're usually all under 2 minutes. So there's really no reason why, if you don't understand why something is behaving the way that it is, this is a great place to go. All right, Abby, let's go back to my home screen. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I want to go to, Abby, click on SAM assignments for me.
Sure.
And I want to show you some changes of some courses that I have set up. Abby, can you go over to where it has my name on the right-hand side? And I want to see student view.
Sure.
Okay. I have 2 courses currently set up within my SAM account. One is the one that they gave me, the high school keyboarding and SAM. And I want you to notice there is no textbook that is associated with this. This is one of those changes when you design your course, you have to decide if you want to add your textbook where your students have access to their ebook. Okay, that's one difference. Do me a favor, click over to the other course so they can see where the textbook is if they do decide they want to add it. You can see that there it is, the ebook that they will be able to access. Do me a favor, Abby, and I want you to scroll all the way down to lesson 20. Let me see where I want you to keep coming down. Keep coming down. I want the additional timings at the very end.
Okay.
And see where it says additional timed writings? I want you to choose timed writing 23E. It's another setting you need to be thinking about. Just click on Start for me. Some of the assignments, depending on how you set them up, will prompt the student to use their textbook. Other times, if you tell it not to have it where they access their textbook, it will actually supply them with the text to be able to type. Again, this is a personal preference for you. If you decide that you want to have your students typing for or keying from a third-party item, whether it's a piece of paper, their textbook, or whatever, I always feel like there is validity in that, and I'm going to be able to show you how you can make that happen for them and their timing. All right, Abby, let's close this one out. And let's get out of student view. And we're going to add a new course. To add a new class, I want you to go to sections at the top and notice that I have a naming convention going on, and I just want to show you where mine says Abshier Block B, Business Systems Technology. I'm going to encourage you, there's so many different settings that you can create within your SAM courses. I would encourage you, whether it's a department or whether it's individual, for you guys to create a master class. That way you're able to copy it over and over again and just change the dates and have consistency across your curriculum. I thought that I could do it, and I knew that I would remember all the settings that I had. I can't remember from 1 minute to the next. I had to go back and create my master course because I was having different classes have different parameters to them. Do me a favor, and Abby, I want you to click on Add New at the top. The first step is giving your course a section name, and I want you to give this my last name, Abby, A-B-S-H-I-E-R, and I'm going to call it Master BST. Perfect. You can give it a course name and call mine Business Systems Technology. You will have to supply it with a term. It's up to you if you want to give it a course description. You do not have to. Go ahead and give it a term of spring of 2018. And a few things that we need to figure out whether you want to have an option here. Do you see where it says student auto-enroll? If you're going to let the students enroll themselves, boom, that's it. If you're not, turn it off. So Abby, let's turn this off. Let's turn off the student auto-enroll. You cannot make changes to the Dropbox or the study center. You see where it says hide section? What that's about is if you don't want to publish a course, maybe you're still working on it, you don't want there to be any chance of anyone getting into it. If you hide it, you're the only one that can see it. At this point, you have to hit save. This is the first step. This is the only time that you'll have to hit save before it'll let you progress to the screen. And you can say, okay, it's going to let you, we're going to choose our textbooks and click on textbook. And look at the available textbooks. You have your Century 21 computer skills. And I want you to click on the plus on the right-hand side, Abby, to add it. And then go up to the active textbooks with the plus. Now, if you want them to be able to have access to the ebook, and I always let my group have access to the ebook because guaranteed somebody's going to forget their book before they come to class, you can turn the student readings on at this point. Go ahead and click on. Perfect. And now the students, that textbook will appear at the very top of their screen when they log on to Keyboarding and SAM. Click on Instructors for me, Abby. You'll notice that there are multiple instructor candidates. Go ahead and give me a plus there for instructor candidates. If you work in a large department and are going to be assigning this to someone, you could add them here as well. We're not going to do that today, but this would be one way you would do it. Let's click on students. This would also be an opportunity if you had created your student accounts for you to be able to add them into your class. Please note the little button that says, once you click on these, you have to click on the button that says Enroll Selected, which is right underneath the 16 on your screen. I made that mistake when Trish was trying to do my onboarding last week, since I don't enroll my own students. But that is how you'd have to do it. You'd have to select them that way. Let's click on Keyboarding Preferences, which is where we're all about making widespread global changes to the way the Keyboarding and SAM product works. A few things, the warm-ups, we're just going to quickly go through these. The main thing that you all are going to be interested in, and whether you believe it or not, which I have found in training, is people wanting to know where they can turn the backspace key off. You can see right there, if you decide you want to turn the backspace key off, you can turn it off on multiple of these assignments. I usually leave mine on, so everyone turn that one back on. And remember, too, the purpose of each one of these assignments. Sometimes if you make the accuracy too high, the student will not be able to progress through it, and especially if you're trying to do any type of teaching of a new key, be careful with setting the accuracy very high. I'm just going to quickly go through these. Notice that with warm-up, you don't have a lot of changes. We're going to go to All Reaches Learn Part 1. And again, you will see you don't have a whole lot of changes. Let's come down to where it says Improving Keystroking, which is, I think, 4th down, 5th down. This is one, sometimes you all like to have divider marks. If that's the case, you are able to turn these on. The developed skill and the keyboard mastery, they have pretty standard defaults as well. These are the standard defaults. If you want to change them, you're more than welcome. But again, you can see why creating a master course with these changes would be a good idea. Come on down, Abby, with these. Quite a few of these have pretty standard things. What I want to come down to is where it has the timed writing outside the lesson. There you go. These, we do have some changes. These are widespread changes. I want you all to think about all these categories here. These categories actually comprise the individual lessons. For the keyboarding part, you all start keyboarding in Lesson 6. There are different types of these assignments within Lesson 6 through 26 and beyond, okay? So these are just some widespread changes that you can make. Can you change them at an individual level? Absolutely. But let's say that you wanted to do a widespread change for your timed writings outside the lessons, that you want to make them, instead of 2 minutes, you want to make them 3 minutes. And we're going to turn the textbook keying on because I want my students to use their textbooks when they're doing it. And let's go ahead. Now notice the error allowance is 6 per minute per task. If you want to change those, you can. I'm a 3 error per minute girl, so let's make those 3 instead of 6. And Abby, just go ahead and hit save. I don't want you to hit save and close yet. Just save. Keep scrolling down, and I want to show you some other things that you do have access to. You don't have proofreader marks or time proofreader marks, unfortunately, at this level, but you do have your numeric keypad, which is, where is your keypad? Maybe it's, oh, this is alphabetical, isn't it? Oh, great, Nancy. Scroll up. All right, where's your numeric keypad? I see it out there, and I don't see it there, but I'm going to show you where it is in the lessons. These are for widespread changes, okay? If you want to look at the individual lessons, why don't we start there next? So click on Lessons as the next tab. Okay, I'm going to do something that I have found incredibly helpful for me when I am looking for a type of assignment. Do you all see where over on the right-hand side it says Search? Abby, do me a favor, and I want you to type in timed writings. And it will pull up all of my time writings that I have available to me that are individual, which are easy for me to be able to assign, as well as be able to grade for marking purposes. Do me a favor. I want you to go all the way over to the right-hand side to the gear over on the right, and let's look at the various options that I have. Right there. Okay. Right now, if you decided you want to schedule it, you could do it here. I'm going to show you an easier way. So we're going to jump from scheduling options over to assignment options. And this is where the December 2017 upgrade really has impacted the way we teach keyboarding with Keyboarding and SAM product. These are various different, these are all standard, you can adjust them. However, this is one of the early on timings, so you all kind of take that with a grain of salt, but we're going to make some changes to the parameters that are going to grade my students. I'm going to tell my students that they can only take this timing 3 times. So Abby, go ahead and change 5 to 3. I want you to go to the tasks questions. You could also give assignment instructions there. So if you do modify it, you could also write some instructions there for what you want students to do. You can also have them the number of incorrect actions per task. And then let's go to grading options, which is the next one. I usually leave that one at 3. I usually do what the recommendations are. I hope you all have seen this screen. If not, you've probably fallen on your office floor and are weeping with relief, because this is something that I have begged for since I started using the keyboarding in SAM, was the ability for me to be able to come up with a formula that I felt adequately represented my students' true keyboarding skills. Whether we still have 11 people on the line or not, but guaranteed there are 11 different people that feel 11 different ways. I'm a graded words a minute girl with errors. I am not a believer. I don't use a lot of accuracy, and let me explain to you how the accuracy works. Accuracy has to do with, say your student keys 60 words per minute, and you have one student that keys 20 words per minute. They both make 5 errors, 5 keystroke errors. The accuracy percentage is much higher for the student who keys faster versus in the one that keys slower. I like to see the number of errors, because to me that is a true representation. And again, I'm not trying to influence you all, but it's just the way that I feel about it. So what I usually do when I go through, and you guys compile this however you want to, I'm going to go to the graded words a minute, and I'm going to make that, instead of 34%, I'm going to make it 50%. So right there, Abby, yep, I'm going to mess with the formula. Let's make that 50%. And let me make my errors 50%. And I'm going to make my accuracy 0. If you like the formula that it has, you can do any compilation, whatever you want to do. This is just what I do. Okay, so far so good. Let's say you decide, oops, I didn't mean to do that. You can always click on default. Don't do that, Abby, but you could if you wanted to. So let's figure out what that graded words per minute and errors actually mean. Click on BLOM for me, please. Notice that this is also on a sliding scale, so you can make this wherever you want to. If you wanted to adjust this to make it lower or higher, you could. And notice that the way that this works, if this helps you, because at first, the first few times that you all do these timings, you're going to be thinking, how did I come up with that grade for my students? Notice that I did a 50-50 with how I was going to weight. If I have a student who, with the way that things are here, that if they key at 50 words per minute, they're going to receive 100% of the points that I have assigned for their speed. But let's say they don't. Click on errors for me, Abby. Let's say I use the default that is here, which is no errors, but my students actually have 2 errors. They will only receive 80% of the 50% worth of the points for their error, for that compilation, for that formula. So there are various different ways that you can think about this. Obviously, you can adjust these, especially when your students are first starting out keying. You probably don't want to have it at 0 errors for them to receive full points, but these are easy to be adjusted. Do me one last favor, Abby. Let's click on accuracy. And let's just pretend that accuracy was part of my my grading percentage that I put in there. You would be able to adjust it however you felt was reflective of what your students would be able to do. Do me a favor, Abby, and let's click on preferences. I just want to make sure we hit all of these tabs at the top before we go on. And now you're able to specify as well in this individual timing if you how long you want it to be and whether you want your textbook keying to be on or off. And we can say on for the textbook keying, and if you wanted to, you can also turn the backspace off. You do whatever you want to do. Just click around, Abby. You're great. Okay, perfect. And now let's click Save and Close. Okay, so now we've adjusted one of the timings. I want to go back to, instead of timed writings, do me a favor, let's take timed writing out of there. And I think I want to look, I think I'm going to try to search for database. Can you search for database there? I know that you all would never do this, never ever. But let's say you decided you didn't want to teach a subject. Do you see how I was just able to search for it? If I decided I didn't want to assign it, Abby, can you click away from lesson 73, lesson 74, lesson 75, and lesson 78? Come down to lesson 90, and I want you just to take out the middle one, the lesson 90 assess training, right there. And I want you to hit save. Don't hit save and close yet, just save. Notice how you're able to eliminate assignments that you don't want to assign. And let's do one other thing. Not only can you eliminate assignments you don't want to assign, but you can also modify the names of the assignments. Let's take out database at the top right, Abby, and let me just see my entire list of assignments. And I want to go to lesson, I think I want to go to lesson 29, I think, for some reason. I'm sticking in my head. And scroll up. And I've decided that the lesson 29, help basics, I've decided I want to add the words very important after the words help basics. Perfect. You speak my language with the all caps. That's great. I do this also, especially when I have assignments that are extra credit for my students. That way they know that, you know, if they have time, great. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. Let's do this. I do know I have seen it with my both eyes. I think I have seen it with both eyes. I want to look at some additional timings that have been added at the end. So Abby, let's scroll down to the bottom of the screen. And I want you to hit the 7. Give me the 7. Or you can hit the end. Yeah, however you want to do it. Oh, keep going. The very end. There we go. All right, scroll up. And let me look and see what my options are here. I could have sworn there was a numeric keypad assignment in here. There it is. There's the numeric keypad. If you've been looking for a place to teach the 10 keypad, which is such a valuable job skill, that was added in December of 2017. If you want to, boom, there it is. So that's also great. And also the skill buildings. If you haven't looked at those flip back and forth between accuracy and speed and start off on various different 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, those are wonderful as well. So if you're looking for additional assignments to bulk your student skill, these are excellent places for you to be able to do that.
You can also use your, excuse me, you can also use your search top right again to quickly find those if you have forgotten where they're located.
Correct. Trish taught me that trick. She's great. Let's do one last thing before we go ahead and get out of this. I meant to show you all, which I'm sure you all have looked at now, whereas in my version of keyboarding and SAM, I focus mainly on Word with a series of word drills and apply it drills and projects. You guys have a training testing type feature for the various different topics that you cover. So Abby, if we could, let's go back to the very first page, and I just want to show you guys some options that you have there with being able to, you can also change some settings in there if you want to. For the trainings, you really don't have a whole lot of options except telling them what to do, but give me the gear over on the right-hand side for the Computer Basics exam. Yes, ma'am, click on that. Click on Assignment Options. You're also able to tell them how many times they can retake it, whether you want to specify a time limit, pass, fail, and whether you want to display the results. Click on task questions. I want to see what those options are as well as you can tell it how many incorrect times they can attempt a task before they're counted as incorrect. You can change those to however many you want. After viewing your product, I've already put a call into Cengage and said, hey, I want some of their stuff into my stuff. So I have been pleasantly surprised with the information that you all are provided with in this version of Keyboarding and SAM. Do me a favor, Abby, click Save and Close.
So just to clarify, stay right there for a second, Abby. So just to clarify, where before Abby went in and Nancy went in to go and set settings, you're setting those settings for that type of exercise. But here is where you can say, oh, but wait, I want lesson 3 or I want lesson 5 to be something different. And that's what your gear is over there. So you're actually just customizing this particular lesson, whereas maybe you've already set defaults across all those kinds of exercises. Now you're totally customizing this particular lesson.
Correct. And usually what I do when I do the global settings like we did back when we were in the keyboarding preferences, I kind of do the middle of the road where it's acceptable, and then I have my various other I would call them points that I want to make sure that my students are hitting. Those are attached to actual assignments that are outside that I'm able to really make sure that I customize to my grading criteria. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, let me do one other thing. Click on Save and Close. And Abby's just dying to make these always available to not available. And I'm going to show you why I did not do that at that point. Let's pretend that I have sat down and made all of these changes, made sure that they were exactly what I wanted. I've got everyone progressing with the speed that I want them to progress, their error and their accuracy potential, as well as the number of attempts that they have on their exams, et cetera, et cetera. That has been a lengthy process. And now it's going to be time that I'm going to take all of those settings and I'm going to copy them over into my course that I am going to adjust the due dates for. So Abby, let's click on Abshier Master BST. I want you to click on Copy. And it's going to tell me, do I want all of these assignments? I'm just going to say, we're going to let it be, and I'm going to say Next Step. And now I'm going to be able to name this. Let's take copy 1 out of the way, and let's call this Abshier Block C. Yeah, take master out and just put Block C BST. Perfect. And say Save.
This would also be great for if you have several teachers at one school teaching and you have kind of a master teacher or someone who's like, okay, I'll set up the master one, and then you can copy it out to other teachers. Then that way you're all kind of starting with the same master and preferences, and then each teacher can then rename their copy and then make it theirs and make the changes they want.
Wonderful. Exactly right. And this has really been a lifesaver. And the ability to copy came out in October, which was enough to make me weep. That was wonderful. Do me a favor, Abby. I want to quickly go through how they can set the dates. So let's go ahead and go to Block C BST, the one we just created. And once I've got all of my settings right, I'm a happy camper. Yeah, click on Edit. The easiest way to go through and set the preferences as far as the dates is through this dialog box. Sometimes it takes the lessons a minute to populate. That's why it's grayed out at the top. Abby, click on Keyboarding Preferences and let's see if we can't kick it in the pants. There we go. See, I'm not a complete liar. There we go. Let's say you want to assign a block of lessons, and sometimes it is slow going because you can't do a range of lessons. But Abby, we're going to do lessons 1, 2, and 3. I want you to turn always available off on all three of those. Right in the middle, and it'll turn red. And then I want you to go over to the gear on the right-hand side. And notice I want you to choose the 12th through the 21st. Some other options you have. You can also make these available after the due date. And if you come down, you can see where you can say, make it available after the due date. You can turn that on if that's important to you. Click on assignment options. I just want to make sure. I think this is the same group that we had before. Yes, same group. If you wanted to add instructions, you could. We've already seen this screen as well. Click on save and close. And you've just set your first due date. You can do that. I usually do all my assignments that I have that are due on an actual date. I do them all together just to keep myself straight. It is nice that they stay red until you adjust the due dates once you turn that off. But it seems, sometimes it seems a little bit more daunting than it is, but trust me, whoever you can get in your department to volunteer to do all the settings, those are the true workhorses. Setting the dates is a snap. And it really does allow you to customize when your work is due, et cetera, et cetera. So far, so good. Does anyone have any questions so far in the chat, Trish? Anything?
The chat's quiet.
Wow, the chat is quiet.
You and Abby are just doing a rockin' good job.
That's awesome. Me and my little Vanna White here. Okay, let's do this. How many of you all want to know how you're going to grade all this stuff? I know I did. Abby's raising her hand. Let's do this. Abby, go ahead and do me a favor. Let's just hit cancel here on this one because these are red. They're red. That's the reason why. Just say okay. It's okay. All right. Let's click on results. And I want to explore this screen with you as far as what your options are. I want you guys to think of your reports as this. Your reports are a way that you can look at your individual students, how an individual class did on a specific assignment. You can download a plethora of information from this site. If you want a quick snapshot as far as where people are at, you click on Gradebook. Click on Gradebook for me, Abby. And I want you to choose the HS Keyboarding and SAM. And we're going to look at my students that I have there. I have 3 students in there. Complete with student 1 who's done a little bit of work. Notice that we have student 1 who's done 17% of this. But let's just say, and then she has gone through, and I know it's a she because it's me, she's done 100% of lesson 6. But let's say in her lesson 1 that I don't think that the 17% is reflective, that she actually got a few more of those correct, or maybe I want to adjust her grade. Click on that, Abby, on the 17. And let's give her 10 out of 29. I don't know why we would do this, but just show you that you do have the ability. And student 1 has gone from a 17 to a 34, which I'm sure that they will be thrilled about. But you are able to adjust their grades here. Okay, like I said, it's just a snapshot of where they're at, and I want you to see at the top where it has the lesson range as far as to be able to view. As you progress through your course, obviously you would want to continue with your error range. One other thing I don't know if you all are familiar with, but I want to show it to you because it is something that I really find very helpful. Click on Report for me, Abby. And this is where I like to see, I can see everything a student has done, anything that they have submitted. I can see the keystrokes they've taken to get there. Click on Keyboarding for me. And I want to look at what do I want to look at? Let me look at all. I want to see what my options are with all. I want to see if I can look at a person with everything. Okay, let's do, no, that's not what I want to do. Click on Keying Drills. Sorry. And I want to look at individual performance. And I'm going to look at CL student, there she is, student 1. And I see that the keying drills that she has done, she has completed the textbook drills as well as the timed writing. Let's say I'm not really happy with what her score is. Let's click on lesson 18, timed writing, the first one, Abby. And click on generate report. And notice that I'm actually able to see a playback for her, and it's going to tell me some stuff. See how it tells me that she's gotten an 80? And you can also see that her words per minute are 52. I did not adjust any of the parameters at the website for this course. So it's based on 33, 33, 34 for the Guam errors and accuracy. So let's click on playback. Sometimes this is helpful if I am trying to figure out if a student is having difficulty with a specific key, continually hitting it incorrectly. And I can see that there really is nothing that she is doing that is, I can't find any pattern for her, just the fact she's not being careful when she's keying. Let's close this down. You could actually play it, which is, oh my gosh, it's a whole 2 minutes. It's exciting stuff. You can watch keystroke by keystroke. Click back on results. Abby, you don't even need to close this one down. But let's, instead of the keyboarding drills, let's look at the office exams. Now, this is a really pretty cool feature over on the left-hand side. Come on over. There we go. Awesome. And let's use individual performance again. And the student, she logged on and she did do some work. She did the L22, no, let's do L37. That's right, L37. Let's do that one. These are incredibly helpful when you are trying to start to teach formatting, because you can see exactly which item a specific student has not mastered. Click on playback. This student could not figure out how to turn on the automatic hyphenation. And it's going to show me all of her attempts at it, because she just kept randomly clicking stuff, and it does it in real time, exactly however long. And she had 7 attempts at this, and she still couldn't get it right. So, but anyway, this is also helpful for trying to diagnose where your students have gone wrong, especially with that when students will say, well, Ms. Abshier, I know I did it right. Well, when I log on and I see what you have done click by click, you have not done it right. Let me show you the right way to do it. So this is a wonderful feature that you have for the exam. I don't know if you have it for the training or not, because I only played around with the exam. But you're able to see exactly who's mastered. There are a variety of different reports also that you could run. And the nice thing is about this, what I can see in this report, mirrors almost exactly what your student can see. There should be absolutely no question why, what their score is, because they're able to